You've been patiently waiting for this track to explode on. If you thought I forgot, you'd be so wrong. My Best of 2024 series. I concluded that series with a teaser that I dropped, a little nugget, a little pearl, claiming in 2025 you were going to get a sunscreen gel video. January, February, March, April. Here we are, 5 months in. Today is the day. The SPF Roundup. Clear, colorless sunscreen gels. Great for hair-bearing areas. Lightweight, importantly, for those of you in humid, hot, tropical climates, get your beverage, get your fan, because these are sunscreens you are going to want to check out. They're all gel vehicles. Gel vehicles are ideal in humidity because they allow for good evaporation of sweat. That being said, many of these, although not all, have alcohol. Take a deep breath in, exhale it out. Alcohol in sunscreens is not the devil, and it allows for formulas to be fast drying, non-greasy, allow for good evaporation of sweat, keep you from overheating, great for sport. That being said, some formulas with alcohol can be a touch drying, and as I'll point out as we go along, depending on what other skincare products you are using, sometimes alcohol-based gels do not interact well with certain oilier cosmetics, serums. You'll get that pilling, the balls rolling up action. Also, these sunscreens, clear, colorless, zero white cast. Zero white cast. What is the magic? I'll tell you the magic. None of these are mineral sunscreens. They are all chemical sunscreens. None of these burn, sting around the eyes for me, but that does vary quite a bit from person to person. In no particular order, if you're interested in a sunscreen gel, you want to go to Japan. You don't actually have to fly there. You could teleport yourself there, alternatively, or you could just order from any of the number of online retailers that will ship to the US, Asian cosmetics, Japanese included. Last year, I did a roundup, Japanese sunscreens, which are good. And you'll recall from that video, a sunscreen gel that I love. It's actually one I've used over and over again. There have been several iterations of it. It's been reformulated, tweaked, refined, if you will. And that's the Nivea UV Super Water Gel SPF 50 PA3+. This has a Uvinol T150, Uvinol A+, and octinoxate. It does have alcohol, don't be scared. This I love because it's fast drying, not the least bit greasy, as is the case with all of these, doesn't pill, and I love that it comes in this pump bottle. The pump bottle is so convenient for reapplication purposes. It makes reapplying easy. And like I said, it's got alcohol in it, but it's not drying. It doesn't burn, it doesn't sting. Japanese sunscreen formulas are always amazing. They tend to be very gentle and hydrating at the same time. The Skin Aqua Super Moisture Barrier UV Gel SPF 50 PA4+, Uvinol T150, Uvinol A+, Tinosorb S, and octinoxate does have alcohol, but this is such a pleasure to use. See, it's even more moisturizing than the Nivea UV Super Water Gel, but not the least bit greasy. Great for addressing the needs of the skin barrier, helping with barrier function ultimately. So those are two Japanese gel sunscreens that 10 out of 10 have no reservations recommending whatsoever. But let's move to the US market. Laying out there, begging the ultraviolet radiation to induce DNA damage, suppress your immune system, destroy the vitamin D in your skin. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. A little bit of UVB is all the skin needs to make some vitamin D, but to lay out there in the sun, the UVA rays degrade the vitamin D and thin the skin, destroy the vitamin D producing machinery. So I will emphasize that over and over again because this idea that sun tanning is a smart or effective way to raise your vitamin D is just nonsensical. They came out with some sunscreen gels. One of them is called the Mug Guard. SPF 30, water resistant 40 minutes. I love water resistant sunscreens for humid environments because they stay on the skin a little bit better. You still need to reapply them every 2 hours while you're outside. Okay, you're not getting out of that, but they tend to stay on the skin better. If you get in the water, these are great options because they will stay on the skin while you're in the water, but when you get out, you do need to reapply. Okay, they are not permanently adhered on there and some of it will come off in the water, but more of it stays on in the water than a non-water resistant sunscreen would, and enough to help you not burn while you are in the water, because yes, you can burn in the water. The Mug Guard is a really nice formula. It kind of has this green tint to it. I'm showing you a small amount here. Very hydrating, very lightweight, not the least bit non-greasy, quick dry gel formula. If you've got a beard, this would be a great one to try. People tend to be a little bit too light-handed with how much sunscreen they put on, and as a result, they don't get a thick enough application to yield the stated SPF. SPF 30 is kind of the going rate, bare minimum recommendation, and it does end up working out well. This is a great daily facial sunscreen for men or women. Great if you have facial hair, great if you live in a humid climate. If you're like me, you're gonna notice, wait a minute. The Bod Guard is also SPF 30, also water resistant 40 minutes. Very, very similar ingredients, larger bottle, less expensive per unit. What's the difference? Can we use the Bod Guard on the face? Yes, yes, yes. You can use the Bod Guard on the face. Yes, it is less expensive. Yes, it is pretty identical, except it has fragrance. The fragrance is not bad. It's not bad. You guys know I'm a fragrance critic. I don't like fragrance and leave-on stuff. It tends to give me a headache or make my face red. And if you're allergic, you can't use it. And if you have like atopic dermatitis, you are more vulnerable to, in general, developing allergies to any ingredient in skincare. But fragrance is like one of the most common, and we don't need everything to be such a hyped up pleasure experience. This scent is not headache inducing. It's very light. It does not linger on the skin surface, which I appreciate. It's a really light scent. A little bit of that ocean fresh breeze scent. So it's not like a bouquet of flowers. It's just that ocean scent. Very light. Essentially, if you want fragrance free from this brand, you gotta pay more. No pilling. I didn't get any pilling with this. The formulas do not have any animal ingredients. They are vegan formulas. So if you're going full vegan with your skincare, meaning you don't want an animal body part secretion filtrate in your skincare, then these are great options. If you're not allergic to fragrance and you don't mind fragrance in your sunscreen, get the bigger bottle. Go with the SPF 30 Bod Guard. It's not an unpleasant scent. It doesn't linger, like I said. All right, this is one I've been raving about since February. I talked to you guys about it for the first time in my, you guessed it, the Fast 5. If you don't know what the Fast 5 is, you gotta check out the Fast 5 playlist. Monthly reviews. That's what that is. 5 product reviews in a video, quick and dirty. And I introduced this in February, and I have continued to use it. I always have to look at the name because my brain does some sort of mental gymnastics around this. Naked Sundays. Naked Sundays. They're Cabana Clear SPF 50 non-water resistant sunscreen. This is again, clear, colorless, lightweight, fast drying, non-greasy, zero white cast sunscreen with hyaluronic acid that helps improve water content in skin's outermost layer. Ultimately, that helps cut down on the buildup of dry, rough skin. It has this sort of plumping effect by improving water content. I was a little bit nervous trying this out for the first time because those of you who have been here for a while, you know that many years ago, Australian Gold Botanical was all the rage. Like, it had this unusual cult following, and I get it. You know, you find a sunscreen that you like, it's like, do not disparage my holy grail. I get it. Australian Gold Botanical mineral sunscreen, and I've tried it again and again and again. Every time, it's like you keep expecting different results, repeating the same thing. Irritates my skin. And at the time, I was like, this is unusual. You know, why is this causing this problem for me? And I thought maybe it's this cockadoo plum. I joked the cockadoodle-doo. But in retrospect, I'm also thinking it might have just been that particular formula was too matte, too drying, and just doesn't play well with my skin. I was a little bit nervous though with the Naked Sundays because it's got the cockadoodle-doo. It's got the cockadoodle-doo, and spoiler alert, has caused 0 issues for me, and I continue to love it, adore it. A little expensive though, I will say. SPF 50. This is also a fully vegan formula. So if you don't want any animal body parts, secretions in your skincare, this is another one for you to dabble on in. Now, e.l.f., their skincare dupes are not to be slept on. I know a lot of people don't like the word dupe, okay? I've come across people online who are really not a fan of dupe. They think that word and that usage and products that are dupes, you know, is encroaching on unethical territory, copying formulas, whatever. When I say dupe, I mean looks, feels, performs very similar, but is a lot less expensive. And you know, that's the case, right? Like, that's the case here in the United States with anything that you might want to buy for the most part, whether it be a car or cornflakes, okay? You can go into Walmart and you can buy name brand Kellogg's cornflakes, or you can buy the Great Value cornflakes. The Great Value cornflakes are a dupe of Kellogg's cornflakes, less expensive. I don't know. I've never eaten Great Value cornflakes, but I'm just saying that to me is what dupe dupage is. So e.l.f. has what I consider to be in the family actually of dupes for the Supergoop Unseen sunscreen. This is a clear, colorless sunscreen, but in contrast to some of the others we've mentioned, this one has a different play to it. It's very silicone rich. No alcohol in this one. No alcohol. In contrast to that quick dry formula, this, you spread it on the skin, it has this pore blurring effect to it. If you've ever used Supergoop Unseen, very similar here with this Sunforgettable from e.l.f. Water resistant 80 minutes makes this an excellent option as a daily facial moisturizer with sunscreen for a humid tropical environment for the boiling Houston summers. This is a great option. Does not burn or sting, and it bills itself as a makeup primer as well. A lot of makeup primers are this kind of silicone rich formula, and that's great because it smooths down all the dry skin, locks in hydration, allows for a plumping, firming effect. In this case, you are getting the ultraviolet radiation protection on board, but then the makeup goes on over it well, and that's the case here. Really, really like it. All right, I'm gonna end this video with one that I talked about up and down all around town last year, but you know, we have new people here or people who didn't watch certain videos because I put one out every day, okay? And you guys have jobs, and you got Charlie who sometimes needs attention, so I get it. But this is one that is very nostalgic to me, and let me tell you, it performs so well in miserable heat, and that is the Bullfrog Quick Gel Clear Colorless Chemical Sunscreen. The thing about this one, there are a few issues with it, all right? It's been around since 1985. It was one of the first sunscreens I personally used, long before I even was a medical student and before I was even in college. This was a sunscreen that I would willingly use at the beach. Always worked out well for me, very comfortable and amazing, and then I just stopped seeing it, kind of forgot about it, and then I got really into sunscreen when I learned about how truly damaging ultraviolet radiation is to your skin, and I just kind of forgot about it, only to discover it again last year, and it's just as good, but with a few caveats. First of all, great thing about it, it's water resistant 80 minutes. This is a perfect sunscreen for those of you who participate in outdoor activities. If you work outdoors, you work in construction, you have a spouse who works outdoors in construction or some sort of outdoor occupation, and they're like, oh heck no, I'm not putting sunscreen on. Pass this on over to them, because this is one that a lot of people have no problem putting on and reapplying because it's such a quick dry formula. Not the least bit greasy. You know, it helps actually cool the body because that alcohol, which this one has alcohol, okay? As that alcohol and stuff is evaporating, it has a cooling effect. So it makes reapplying something that people can get on board with. The issues with this are twofold. First of all, it does have fragrance. Not a super strong fragrance, but if you're allergic, it's a no-go. Can wear it on the face, no burning, stinging around the eyes. But the big bugaboo with this is that because it is, I assume, heavy with the alcohol, it really doesn't play with other skincare products well at all. If you have body lotion on and you put this on, you will get pilling. Go on Amazon, read the reviews for this. I guarantee there'll be somebody on there telling you that it pills. It's not the most social, if you will, with other skincare products. So just keep that in mind. But if you've got bare skin and you put this on for being outdoors purposes, I'm telling you, this is the one. Those of you who play tennis, you know, pickleball, I don't even know what pickleball entails. I just heard it doesn't involve pickles, so I'm like, what would I want to do with that? But this is a great option, okay? This is one to try for the body for sure. You can use it on the face. I've used it on the face, no problem. But keep in mind, it will pill if you put it on stuff like other moisturizers, products, or whatever. But it is great. Children can use any of these. They can use any of these. If they like one of these, please let them use it, okay? Because kids, you know, they're not gonna put stuff on that they don't like. And so if they like one of these, by all means. The best sunscreen for your child is the one that they actually want to use. And this is a great option. Kids use it, and it doesn't have that greasy feel, and it does a really good job protecting the skin, provided you use enough of it, provided you reapply every 2 hours, you reapply when you get out of the water. It is water resistant 80 minutes, and provided you don't rely solely on this for a day at the beach, that you make sure that you seek shade, that you know, wear protective clothing, hats and things of that sort. You really want the full package when it comes to sun protection. But sunscreen can really get you that protection that you need to protect against a sunburn. All right, y'all, that is a roundup of the clear, colorless sunscreen gels. For those of you who hate greasy formulas, you hate that residue in your facial hair, you have no desire to apply sunscreen when you are working up a sweat outdoors, either working or participating in some sort of leisure activity or sport, these are ones that you need to consider. I hope this video was informative. Drop a comment though. What sunscreen do you lean into in the hot, humid, tropical months? I would love to know because I live in a swamp, basically. I'm always looking for fast, dry, non-greasy gels. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, times are getting expensive. So on the end slide, I'm gonna link yesterday's video all about my top affordable skincare recommendations. So watch that one next if you're penny pinching or you just hate spending money unnecessarily, but you want good, effective, Dr. Dray approved, if you will, skincare products. I hope you guys enjoyed this one though. If so, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.